Now, as some of you may or may not know, I had trained in martial arts previously. I had trained in Shotokan karate and received my black belt when I was in high school. And then I had an extremely long gap from martial arts due to my medical training and, well, life. Once I had started working and had somewhat of my life back after residency, I had wanted to go back and train in Shotokan because I missed it. But I kept telling myself I wouldn't look or train like a black belt since so much time had passed. So I told myself I'd work out and I'd get my strength back and I'd get my speed back, and then I would go back to my dojo. But even more years went by and I didn't join. The reason I ended up choosing a different style was because I told myself, no one will know anything about me and I'll look like a white belt. I had my first class with Sensei Sarah and it went great, and I felt at ease. Then I had my very first actual class, and Grandmaster happened to be teaching it. We started the shoulder touch drill. Grandmaster came up to me and said, "You have very good technique. What did you train in?" I said, "Shotokan," and I thought, I guess I still got a little something. We were only about 10 minutes into class when Grandmaster starts telling a story. He said, "Paratroopers always recognize other paratroopers the way black belts always recognize other black belts." And he looked directly at me. I was in shock. All I could think was, how did he know? I went home and I told my parents. I was like, "Mom, Dad, he knew I was a black belt. After all these years, after all this time, he knew." I realized after that day that the only reason for my excuses was because I had stopped believing in myself. I had lost my confidence, and I had stopped believing I was a black belt. I had just given up on myself in a lot of ways. Grandmaster, thank you for seeing in me what I failed to see in myself, because that single moment changed my life in so many ways. I made a promise to myself to show up and train and act like a black belt both inside and outside of the dojo. I started to truly embody the leadership principles and the virtues in the student creed and applied them to all areas of my life. Whenever I was faced with a challenge, I told myself it was only a lesson to make me stronger, because a black belt never quits. We only evolve and we grow.